load, things like that. So I researched that as well. And travel logistics in terms of busing, what time we can start. When the project started, we were not set in stone on anything. They told me to start from ground zero. So I looked at different ways that we could address transportation and time schedules, meal times. And then after I kind of had an idea, I met with building principals several times to revise with their concerns. And then finally finished with some teacher feedback. After much feedback and revision, the schedule was crafted with what you see in front of you. So along with that schedule is also a 2-hour delay schedule. Now it says Walnut Creek at the top, but it is different across the middle schools due to we have teachers that travel. So it is, the times are the same, it's just when they occur to accommodate for the traveling teachers. And you'll see at the end of the time, there is what we call tutorial. And it kind of mirrors what we have at the high school too, and that's why Mr. Hall wanted it to be called tutorial, so that middle schoolers were getting used to this time period that we can use. During this tutorial period, it'll act as a time to give us a good chunk of time, 40 minutes, to really dive in with those kids that could use a little bit of extra help. So language arts will be able to identify those kids that can use extra help, and we'll be able to provide them with remediation and intervention. Math will be able to do the same, social skills, emotional support, all of these gifted support, all extra for our learning support. We're able to provide a lot of extra time and enrichment for our gifted students, enrichment for our art students. It really gives a lot of extra time in the day without taking anything away from instructional time. So what did the new schedule accomplish? One schedule for all 3 middle schools, eliminated the 10-minute intervals. I don't know if you guys were familiar, but with our Infinite Campus, again, no fault of anybody's own, but it had turned out when we were creating the schedule that it created little 10-minute intervals, and it became confusing if a person was to miss one class of a middle schooler. It made it look like they missed 6 classes. So by making this block schedule, we eliminated the 10-minute intervals. We established a common tutorial time to provide enrichment, remediation, intervention. We maintained 5.33 hours of the required 5 hours of instruction. All classes across grade levels and subjects now have the same amount of instructional time. Lunches were placed at the middle of the day. We eliminated lost time due to irregularities in transition times. And we maintained and enhanced the middle school model by focusing on working together as a team to recognize students who need extra help or enrichment and providing those services for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
She was just asking if we're going to be implementing this, and the answer is
Yes.
yes.
Yes, this will be starting in the fall, and the 2-hour delay schedule is there as well.
How many students are we talking?
The entire, all of the middle schools.
Right.
Right.
How long did it take you to do that?
Well, when I
Months, right?
when I was first doing it, like I said, I thought it was easy, and all bets were off in terms of where it was starting. So I was at the kitchen table. I started one night. I started at like 6. I didn't get done till midnight. Then I went to bed. I still couldn't figure it out. Dog had to wake up for some reason at like 4 in the morning. So I woke up and I had finished most of the general skeleton then, just trying to work numbers, because it was a puzzle, because once you moved one thing, something else was moving, and it just kept going. So it took a while, and then with a lot of feedback from the principals, we go to the drawing board. So it took a little bit of time, but it was fun, and it's in a rewarding sense, getting to learn all those logistics.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm actually not fully done, because we're very excited that the highly qualified teacher in the focus room, when they begin to teach those skills to the students, we actually have a curriculum that we've been looking at through Patton, through the state, free to us and resources, and we've invited them to come up from Pittsburgh. They've made one trip already and presented it. It really falls in line with what we're hoping the students will be able to accomplish, and they're offering us free trainings, etc., to our school, and they're offering to come here to train. We'll probably be the kind of the flagship of that program for our area, which will be really exciting for Mill Creek.
Teach full time.
Thank you.
I teach full time. And have some sort of family life. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Policy and Personnel Committee has one more item. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question.
Excellent presentation, Joe, Shannon. Shannon, how do you incorporate the parents or the parent in this? In other words,
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because that is something I didn't present. By having that highly qualified teacher in there, and by having the SAP provider also in there, that automatically includes parents. And in the folder that I gave to you, there is actually a daily time when that highly qualified teacher is to make parent contact.
okay, is there an evaluation process? In other words, you're starting off, is there a 3, 6, 9, 12-month period where you're evaluating it and getting feedback from the parent?
From everyone included. And that plan is going to be administratively put into place. The principal will still be responsible for establishing what are the parameters, how long are they in there, how long do they feel they need to be in that program, and really it's going to be goal-based. It's almost as if children without being part of the special education program will still have their own individual educational plan.
And one last question, and everyone asks, how much is it going to cost? In other words, have you vetted out the cost of each individual professional? That should be part of.
The beauty of this program is that we're using our own staff already. So the staff provider is already on contract with us, and we'll add that to the list of duties. Our probation officer is already on contract, so they add that. Guidance counselors, administrators, and teachers. It would become part of their plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations and the very best to you both.
Okay, we have one more item, and it is our secondary curriculum director, Dr. Dennis, and Susan, are you also presenting?
Yeah, just jump in if need be. So, right, always ready. So previously we had brought forward a job description for the secondary curriculum director position. Tonight I want to share with you some information because I think it's important for you to understand why we are looking for this position to be brought forward. So I'm going to share with you some information about the history of the curriculum department staffing. What is the function of the curriculum department in terms of their oversight of curriculum assessment and instruction? And what is the secondary focus that we are looking for? So in terms of the history, and Tom, thank you for being the clicker there. In terms of the history, if you take a look at the PowerPoint, you'll see that we look back to 06, 07. So at that time, we had 2 curriculum administrators, a curriculum facilitator, 5 curriculum coaches, and these are people that would go out into the buildings and help facilitate the curriculum in the buildings, for a total curriculum staff of 8. The next year, we lost a half of the curriculum coach, so it was down to 7.5 total staff. In 08-09, we were still at 7.5 staff. In 09-10, we added 1 curriculum facilitator, lost a half of a curriculum coach, so the total was back up to 8. I put in highlight 10-11 year, and you'll see why. That was the year that we went from 2 curriculum administrators down to 1, and that was a budgetary reason, budgetary concern. We still had 2 curriculum facilitators. We went down to 2 curriculum coaches for a total curriculum staff of 5. And again, as you look at this, it's all budget driven. In 11-12, we lost the 2 curriculum coach positions, so we were down to 3 total curriculum staff, which we kept the next year. In 13-14, we went from 2 curriculum facilitators down to 1, and then we were at 2 total curriculum staff, and that is what we have stayed at up until this point. You'll see in the almost to the last column, IT coaches. Those are instructional technology coaches working with the technology program, but they were interfacing with the curriculum department. And then other were grant positions that were in place at that time. So in terms of the overall scope, next slide, Tom, the overall scope of the curriculum department, well, the goal is the leadership and facilitation of the curriculum, assessment, and instruction process for all of the students. What is the scope? Well, as you know, we're pre-K to 12th grade. We have close to 7,000 students, 18 administrators, 479 faculty, 290 courses K to 12 with 11 content departments.